Long time no see, YouTube. It's your boy KD and this thing, and I'm back at y'all again with another video. Alright, so before we get going on the video, man, y'all know what to do. Go on ahead, hit the like button. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe one time for your boy, so we can continue to grow like we need to grow on this channel, man. Y'all know what time it is, bro. All day, every day. You know what I mean? So yeah, bro. Y'all see what the title of the video is. Here we go again. Here we go again, right? Here we go again, right? So it wasn't enough that we had to go through 5 to 6 years of people slandering, hating, putting out false information, false narratives on Terence Crawford. It wasn't enough that we had 5 or 6 years of that with Errol Spence Jr. The fact that he acted like he wanted to fight, but he didn't really want to fight. But Bud wanted to fight, but Errol really didn't want to fight. But he made everybody think that Bud really didn't want to fight, but Errol didn't really want to fight. It's bad enough we had to go through all that shit for the last 5 and 6 years, right? But here we are once again in 2024, post Errol Spence annihilation / ass whooping. Here we are, right? Here we are, 2024, post fish fry, right? Here we are. And in history is already repeating itself. Already. Like, damn. Like, can we even get a good year or so before, like, you niggas really go off on your tangents? You know, moving the goalposts and starting all this slander shit like y'all was doing before in the past. Can we even get a year before you niggas start doing this shit? Like, Errol got his ass whooped. Matter of fact, the anniversary of Errol's ass whooping. The anniversary of Errol's ass whooping is coming up on the 29th, right? Ain't even been a year since he took that ass whooping. And history is already repeating itself, right? Niggas are already doing the same thing that they did years ago by putting Boots Ennis in place of Errol Spence Jr., right? A nigga that say he want to fight, but really don't want to fight, but instead of saying he don't want to fight, making it seem like the other dude don't want to fight. And now we got this whole saga of people with misinformation and slander and all this shit going around the highways and the byways and all this type of stuff. We're dealing with the same shit all over again, right? Bud ain't got no problem fighting Boots. Boots really don't want to fight Bud, but Boots ain't gonna say he don't really want to fight Bud. So it's gonna make it seem like Bud don't want to fight him, when in all actuality he don't want to fight Bud. Like the same shit all over again, right? And it's just like, damn, bro. Like, damn, bro. Like, can we get a year? Can we get like a little bit of buffer time, like in between the cap? Like, do we gotta go from one cap right to the like? Is the cap like a continuous stream of thing? Like, I'm just really trying to figure this shit out, y'all, because it's crazy at this particular point in time that we're having to deal with this shit so quickly after Errol took that ass whooping, right? Not only that, but I mean, it hasn't Terence Crawford. Hasn't he reached like the level to the point where like he's transcended the level of bullshit that be going on in boxing? Like, hasn't this man proved that he all about the smoke at this particular time, right? 2-time undisputed, 3-time millennial, and soon to be 4-time champion of the world. Hasn't he already transcended the level of cap that niggas got going on out here on these boxing streets? Like, I'm really trying to figure it out, right? Niggas pushing this Boots agenda as if Boots really want the fight, when it's pretty clear, just like it was pretty clear that Errol didn't want the fight, it's pretty clear that Boots don't want the fight either, right? It's very clear. I mean, the signs are everywhere. It's busting out the window. Boots don't want that damn fight. He never wanted that fight, right? He don't want that damn fight. At least not now. His team damn sure don't want that fight. But I know what one of you fanboys are going to say right now. Listen to the video right now. One of you niggas right now going, what do you mean, KD? Of course Boots wants to fight. He's been chasing Terence Crawford for 2 years. Right? I know exactly what you niggas about to be on, right? Which is complete and utter cap, right? There's no way in hell that you could ever say that Boots was chasing Terence Crawford for any period of time, right? Any period of time. Why? Because on 2 different occasions, Boots Ennis turned down the fight with Terrence Bud Crawford. Right? He turned it down on 2 different occasions. On 2 different occasions, Jaron Ennis could have had the fight with Terrence Bud Crawford, but instead of fighting Terrence Crawford, decided to go in another direction. Don't believe me? How many of you guys remember when Jaron Ennis was the number 1 or number 2 contender in the WBO, a belt that Terrence Crawford had, right? But instead of fighting Terrence Bud Crawford, instead of sticking it out in the WBO, in which he was ranked number 2, he decided to fight in an IBF eliminator, right? Not for the IBF belt, but an IBF eliminator, right? When in all actuality, had he had stayed in the WBO rankings, the way the WBO works is when the number 1 guy doesn't want to fight, they ask the number 2 guy if he wants to fight. And if the number 2 guy doesn't want to fight, they ask the number 3 guy, and the number 4 guy, and so on and so forth. And at the time, Jaron Boots Ennis was either number 1 or number 2 in the WBO, in a sanctioning body where Virgil Ortiz was number 1 and turned down the fight with Terrence Bud Crawford twice, according to the WBO president, when he says that Virgil Ortiz turned down the fight twice, right? So at that time, Jaron Ennis could have had the fight with Terrence Bud Crawford, but again decided to fight in an IBF eliminator. So that'd be the first time. And then the second time, where Jaron Ennis was actually offered the fight by Terrence Crawford, right? He and his team actually offered the fight to take place on BLK Prime, for those of you who remember. And Jaron Ennis' team turned down the fight. And Jaron Ennis' team represents him. All right, we're not going to play that dumbass game. Jaron Ennis' team turned down the fight because Jaron Ennis wanted to be loyal to Showtime, right? Which in retrospect is dumb as hell because the nigga's now fighting on the zone, right? But at the time was equally as dumb as hell because he didn't have a contract with Showtime. And the fight with Terrence Crawford would have been his biggest, most meaningful fight, which would have got him paid the most amount of money, which would have brought him the most amount of recognition and credibility and notoriety to his career, period, right? What reason would a challenger have to turn down a fight with a champion? That makes any kind of sense, right? So that was the second occasion that he turned down the fight, right? So we know he don't want the fight because he turned down the fight on 2 different occasions. But I know what you fanboys are going to say. But KD, that was so long ago, KD. Boots beat up David Avanesian, a world-level fighter. Right? That's what you niggas are going to say, right? Right? I know what you're going to say before you say it. Right? And all I got to say is, isn't that the same David Avanesian that was David I've been sneezing? Or David I believe in? Or David whatever goofy silly ass nicknames you gave the nigga back when Terrence Bud Crawford was trying to fight him or fought him? Is that the same guy who y'all said that Terrence Crawford was wasting his time fighting or ducking Errol Spence to fight, and that he was fighting nobodies and you didn't know who he was or where he came from, and Bud shouldn't be fighting him, and blah 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 yakety schmackety? Now all of a sudden he's a world level fighter that Jaron Ennis was fighting him, but he was a bum. He was a cab driver when Terrence Bud Crawford was fighting him, right? My, oh my, oh my, the double standards are crazy. You know what I mean? Just crazy. Because I would think that a guy who was a bum then would be a bum now. Or if he's a world level fighter now, then he would have most certainly been a world level fighter then. Because at that time, he was a younger, more fresher fighter when he fought Jaron Ennis. And he also had a full training camp, not the 4-week camp that he got when he fought Jaron Ennis, right? I would think that if he was a world level fighter now, that he would have been a world level fighter then. And the fact of the matter is, Terrence Bud Crawford is just that good because he beat the shit out of him, right? Just like Boots did in his respect. But at the end of the day, it's like this. He can't be a bum then and not a bum now, or a bum now and not a bum then. We got to keep it consistent, right? We're going to have to pick one. Right? But I say all that to say this, bro. Let's stop with all this bullshit, bro. Let's stop. I ain't got no problem with Jaron Ennis versus Terence Crawford. I ain't got no problem with that fight happening if Terence Bud Crawford actually wants to make the fight, right? If he really wants to fight Boots Ennis and he really feels like going out of his way to fight that kid, I ain't got no problem with the fight. But as Bud is trying to do bigger and better things, I don't understand what the problem is with that either at the end of the goddamn day, right? I don't get it. Especially when we know that the guy had multiple opportunities to fight Bud Crawford in the first place, but turned it down, right? So the moral of the story is this, man. Let's not stop all this capping ass shit. Stop all this when it comes to a Terence Bud Crawford, because we already know that this man is the truth. We already know this man is free smoke. We already know what it is when it comes to a Terence Bud Crawford. We don't need to do this again with a Jaron Boots Ennis, right? And I don't even need to say who I think is going to win the fight. But at the end of the day, if Bud decides that he wants to go in another direction away from Jaron Boots Ennis, then Ennis needs to just go on and do his own goddamn thing. I don't even get why this is even a conversation to begin with. But it seems like it is, and it seems like niggas haven't learned their lesson yet, right? Yeah. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to wrap the video up right here, man. But let me know what your thoughts is, bro. Hit it up in the comment section below. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, and everybody, and I do mean everybody, be sure to hit the like button one time for your boy. But until next time, bro, I'm going to holler at all y'all, bro. Peace.
Why wouldn't I? You a smart man, but not that smart. Bro, I'm